And now I'm turning us over to Christian Lim. He's the founding partner of Blue Oceans Partners in Paris. He invests in scalable business solutions that address critical threats to the oceans with a focus on sustainable fishing and plastic pollution. Christian, I turn it over to you, and I guess it's good evening.
Yes, it is here under a stormy sky in Paris. So thank you, Rob, and thank you, Peter, for inviting me again. Thank you, Daniela, for pioneering this space and creating the opportunity for people like us. And hi, everyone. So I'm a founder of Blue Oceans Partners, and what brought me to this? So of course, I have an experience as a private equity and venture capital investor, but I'm also passionate about the ocean, and that started as a kid when I discovered freediving. I just didn't know it was called freediving at that time. I just loved going as deep as possible and holding my breath as long as possible, spending time with the fishes. And since then, I've been able to do it in all the main seas, from the Mediterranean to Micronesia to the coast of in the kelp forest of Monterey Bay. So. And when came this opportunity to bring together my investment expertise and my love for the ocean to have a positive impact on the ocean and at the same time, size massive market opportunities, it was just obvious that we had to do it. And so that's how we created Blue Oceans Partners. So I'm here to present you our fund, a 120 million venture capital fund, which invests in innovations that help regenerate ocean health. And we aim to deliver both systemic impact and competitive market returns. And we are working with our anchor investors on the first close in July. So as Daniel said, I think, and many of you have said also before, there is no doubt that life on this planet depends on the ocean. A healthy ocean provides us with the oxygen we breathe, it provides us with food, and it regulates climate change conveniently. Recently, Secretary John Kerry said, there's no way we can win this battle against climate change if we don't use the power of the ocean. At the same time, there is no doubt that the ocean is under existential threats: overfishing. I think many of us have seen Seaspiracy by now. Pollution, plastic pollution, of course, is on everyone's mind, and climate change. If you have seen, as a diver, and Rob, you may have had this opportunity. If you've seen a bleached coral reef, you know it's already everywhere, and that we've lost 50% of our coral reefs already just from the impact of the greenhouse gases we have put in the atmosphere so far. But the good news is that the consumers now and the citizens are aware of these threats, and they are demanding change from the corporates, from the governments, and this is creating massive market opportunities. So I'll give you illustrate that on two of the markets that we work on. So one is seafood. Seafood first is a massive market. It's $315 billion. Its largest segment is aquaculture, and it's growing at 7% per year. Yet it is massively inefficient. It is, for instance, shrimp farming can lose, in shrimp farming, you can lose up to 50% of your production in a given year in some areas. And it is polluting. There is excess feed that damages the environment. And so there is currently already a wave of new technologies that is bringing digital aquaculture to the fore, precision aquaculture, and that is solving both the inefficiencies and therefore creating massive value and solving the sustainability issues like pollution. Actually skip the second segment sector because we, in the interest of time. And what is very interesting is that the startups are the ones that are leading the way in the transformation of the massive, fast-growing markets. And simply because they are more agile, they're not massive incumbents that would cannibalize themselves with competing technologies. And so they are the ones that are actually, to a very large extent, are creating the massive value from this transformation. And we already have winners that have emerged. Companies like SodaStream that produces those sparkling water fountains that enable us not to use single-use plastic bottles. This company was sold at $3 billion to Pepsi Cola. And so at Blue Ocean's Partners, we believe this is an amazing opportunity, and we invest in those very startups and to help them that are creating this transformation and to help them achieve systemic impact and capture a massive share of the fair share of the value that they create. So we have already started deploying this strategy through club deals. I'll give you two examples of companies we invested in. One is called Unseen Labs. It's a satellite company, nano satellites, based out of France. They developed a unique radio frequency sensing technology that enables them to geolocate nearly every boat on the planet, on the ocean, at any point in time, even when they are non-cooperative. So if today vessels on the ocean can go in the dark very easily by turning off what is called the AIS, and they cannot be detected. With this technology, they can now be detected. And this is a company that, of course, is solving a huge problem because it helps solve illegal fishing. But at the same time, is already generating massive value. It is, after just launching their first satellite in 2019, in their first year of operation, they generated more than 2 million euros of revenues, and now heading towards 7 million euros of revenues in their second year. So we're helping scale this company. A second company is called Next Protein. It's a company that developed a unique technology to farm insects. Those insects are a substitute, produce proteins, are used as proteins to feed farmed fish, and they're a substitute to fish meal, which is made from wild-caught fish. And so you understand how using wild-caught fish to feed farmed fish is not sustainable. And Next Protein is developing a sustainable technology is deploying actually at industrial scale with one of the largest industrial capacities in the world today, the production of this sustainable alternative. And so they're positioning themselves to take a leadership position in the $7 billion market, the fish meal market, in which the price has quadrupled in the past 15 years because of shortage of fish meal. And so these are just examples. This is the beginning. We have invested, in our pipeline, we have over 900 companies. We're ready to deploy 30 million in the next coming months. And we are scaling up this strategy we have already demonstrated through club deals through this fund. So in a nutshell, this fund, it's focused on Series A, on Europe, on 3 verticals: solutions to overfishing, solutions to ocean pollution, and ocean-based solutions to climate change, including marine renewables and decarbonization of shipping, mentioned by Daniela. We're a team of experienced and passionate investors. We've worked, on fisheries, on waste management, on artificial intelligence, on microalgae, and we put that at work to deploy the strategy. We're backed by amazing advisors, including on impact. I'll just mention one. One is Brad Ack, who is the former vice president of WWF USA in charge of oceans. He is actually an independent member in our impact committee. He and his colleague François Sima, also an independent ocean expert, validate the impact thesis for each investment that we make. So in a nutshell, this is a strategy that we have already started executing on. We're now scaling it up. Our investors in our club deals are following us, and we're finalizing the work with anchor investors to achieve our closing soon. We hope to make our contribution to scale this space, scale, impact, and size this unique opportunity.
Christian, that's great. I have a few follow-up questions, but the first was actually brought in by Joe Basralian from the audience. Again, what was the name of the satellite company again? Because it also sounds like hunting pirates could be part of their business model as well.
Yes, indeed. So the company is called very aptly Unseen Labs. It's indeed their solution can be used to detect illegal fishing, piracy at sea, even slavery at sea, illegal trades. So this is very versatile. Basically, you can imagine a world where you know where every boat is and at any point in time, and you can actually, it's almost near real time, so you can actually track them. You use artificial intelligence and you can know a lot of things about what is happening on the ocean, which is a complete game changer for, in terms of transparency and ultimately the governance of the ocean.
That's really helpful. And one of my first questions was going to be on stage and type of investments. You already covered a lot of those bases on Series A and European-based companies. Any other, aside from the three categories that you mentioned, is there any other characteristics that you're looking for? You know, Daniela had mentioned the companies in her program have to have a track line to revenues. Obviously, you're an investor, not just an accelerator program, so it's even more important. But you know, is there anything that you've seen that's promising? One of the things that came up in the earlier session was wave power, and as somebody who's worked in the sector for a long time, that's one of the, I think, the ocean equivalent of fusion. It's always 10 years away, as they say, and it's had a lot of fits and starts, a lot of pilot demonstrations. So are there some things where, like that, where you're shying away from, or you guys are pretty, obviously this is the first time fund and you're working on some club deals and deploying capital, but any thoughts of things that, you know, like you said, you've already identified the two, at least two investments. So any other things that people might want to be aware of as they're looking to your fund?
Yeah, I mean, two things. One, we focus on innovations for which the impact and the financial performance are perfectly aligned. So we don't want to be compromising on any, and we don't want any conflict between the two. We don't want to have to choose between impact or performance. So I think it's clearly the case with the examples I gave. Unseen Labs, if they do well, they provide value to their customers, be it governments, insurance companies, shipping companies, with the data that they generate. They will do very well financially, and their impact is going to increase because it will mean more transparency on the ocean and therefore less illegal fishing, illegal trades, and others. So that's this alignment we're looking for, first. Second, we're looking for sustainable and I'd say even regenerative alternatives to the current, the current, technology or model that is competitive, not only is sustainable and regenerative, but is also competitive on both price and performance. This is hugely important, and I'll give you an example. Let's say, I think many of us are aware of the issue of plastic pollution from microfibers. You know that 50% of our clothes are actually made from polyester. And so each time we wash them, those clothes shed tiny microfibers, and they go into the ocean, and that's why we're eating plastic every day. And so to solve this problem, we want solutions. It could be we're interested in alternatives to plastic fibers that are marine biodegradable. So that's the sustainability part, but that's not sufficient. We want it to be competitive on performance, so it has to be as strong, elastic, isolating as polyester, and it has to be competitive in terms of price as well. The price of polyester, if it's 1.2 euro per kilogram, it has to beat that. And so this is how we find the solutions that are massively scalable because they of their price and performance competitiveness. They have the potential to be adopted market-wide and not only on niche markets where the most conscious are going to buy this.
That's really helpful. Diane Keefe from the audience mentioned your average investment size. You mentioned prior club deals, but is your goal to be a lead around or as a follow?
I mean, we so far we've been leading most of our rounds, most of our investments, and we think it will continue to be the case. Oftentimes, and that's been the case in a company like Unseen Labs, we didn't lead that one, but we led all the other investments that we've made. but we are brought in because we invest alongside recognized deep tech investors, but we are the only ones bringing ocean expertise. And ocean expertise means impact expertise, and I think it's important for everyone today, including startups. And we also bring the knowledge of the market, because the market is driven by sustainability concerns. So we understand what the solution is addressing, and we understand the market. And concretely, we're introducing them to clients, to prescribers, to technology leaders in the space, like Global Fishing Watch, Ocean Mind, that will promote the solution. So we're bringing very concrete value because of this expertise. And so that leads us often to be in a lead position. In terms of tickets, we would look typically at first tickets to, from 1 to 4, 5 million, and with very substantial follow-on capacity.
To circle back to the beginning of your discussion, you mentioned there was a second area that you said you were setting aside for lack of time. We do have about 4 minutes left. Do you want to give a highlight of what that other area might be for the fund, or?
Yeah, I mean, there are 2 other areas beyond seafood, that the markets, if you will, that I didn't describe. So one is plastic pollution, and the other one is marine energy and shipping decarbonization. If you look at plastic, we had this discussion with Daniela before. You had this discussion with Daniela before about creating markets for capturing plastic from the ocean, so that's one area, one perspective. But really, if you look at the big picture, plastics packaging is a massive market. It's 300 billion. It's also growing incredibly fast. Unfortunately, you might say in some ways, it's actually our consumption of plastic is doubling every 11 years. And so
the pandemic was not a break for single-use plastics.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, but that just reinforces the urgency to address the issue on land and to turn the tap off, as Daniela was saying so well. So, and the corporates have understood this. So they have actually all pledged under their stewardship of Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And when I say all, I mean Coca-Cola, Unilever, Nestle. I mean, you all know them. They have pledged, and it's formal, it's written, it's signed, that by 2025 they will have no single-use plastic in their value chain. And guess how much they have today? Well, it's actually close to 100%. So it's actually the scale of the transformation is mind-boggling. And what I was saying is that this transformation is actually mainly, into the very largest extent, is led by the startups. And so we are investing in startups that are helping those massive companies transform themselves. And because of the speed and the scale of this transformation, they are in a very good position to capture a large share of the value that they're creating. So that's the second market. I didn't touch upon that, but that illustrates very well why there's such a massive both impact and market opportunity for investors in those startups.
Well, we have about a minute left. Christian, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Blue Ocean's partners? And I'd just like to thank you for taking the time this evening, in your case. And I envy the lung capacity of a free diver. I'm quite happy with my oxygen O2 consumption as a normal diver. So.
Yeah, I wish that someday we can try that together, and you will see it's a different world, another way to enjoy the underwater world. But in any case, in both ways, the ocean is full of wonders that we can discover in many ways. And so, I mean, in conclusion, I'll just say we all have this, I think, somehow this connection with the ocean just by breathing, or because we somehow we know we come from the ocean, and today it is in danger, but we also have very unique opportunity to be involved in addressing those issues and in creating a new economy, a new way to produce and consume, where that is in harmony with the ocean. And so investing in innovation is one of the ways to do this. We have a platform that has already started executing on this strategy. We're scaling up. We are on a journey to harness the power of innovation to regenerate ocean health. And I hope that you can come along with us.
Thanks a lot, Christian. I appreciate the time and best of luck with the new fund.
Thank you very much.